And now, another You Can't Comp This episode highlight.
All right, tell us about your nightmare eBay experience, man. Let's go.
So, funny story, not really funny at all. About a year and a half ago, I think we did a topic. We did a topic about custom cards and people trying to mislead people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I bid at the last minute. The bidding had already gone up. It's not like it was a $50 card and all of a sudden at the last minute it was up near $2,000. It was in and around the $1,800-$1,900 mark, and I was like, should I, shouldn't I? There's too much value here not to. Click bid. So
Yep.
I bought myself what I thought was a Kobe Bryant Kaboom. And I'm like, maybe I've just been lucky. So I went and I paid for it. And the seller shipped it out. And the package arrived and I was really excited. And I went to the post office. And big smile on my face, brought it back home. And I opened this parcel. Only to find that it was a knockoff from like Temu that wouldn't even pass for a crappy Revolution different finish.
So what was the giveaway? What was the initial giveaway to you?
The discoloration. It was
Okay.
like a purple card. It was a photo of the Kaboom. Like it was an image of that Kaboom just on glossy paper.
Yeah, right.
It was trash. The good thing is that this guy had tried to sell the fact that it was a legit Panini card by putting in their item description the additional things that it was manufactured and produced by Panini, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
So it may have said in the description something misleading, like it said hollow. So there was some other thing in the description that wasn't an exact match, but it said Kobe Bryant Kaboom and then added some bits and bobs. However, in the description, it said manufactured by Panini, Kaboom, subset Kaboom, release year 2018. Do you know what I mean? Like it tried to be, to claim it was the Panini released Kaboom.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Anyway, I sent the guy a message, said, I'm not happy with this purchase. I'd like to return it. And there was radio silence. Surprising, really. Someone sending you spending $2,000 on a fake card. Radio silence. So I messaged him again. I said, "Hey, look, this is a fake card. I know it's a fake card. I would really, I just want my money back. I just want my money back. This is ridiculous."
Yeah.
Did the right thing. Contact eBay. Obviously, you have to wait 3 days or whatever it is. eBay said, "Yep, no problem. We'll log it as a case. You won't have to deal with this guy again. We apologize for the inconvenience. Here's a shipping label. Send it back, and we'll issue you a refund." Like, I wanted to destroy the thing, but obviously, in order to get my refund, I need to return the fake, unlicensed card.
Yeah.
So I did that. Because I'm in Australia, the label they provided me was US only. And when I went into the label, it was like, print a label. It's like, and then it said, or enter tracking details. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I went and posted the card and then entered the tracking details into the field that they provided in the case.
Yeah.
Right. Waited 2 weeks. The card got back. Contact eBay. I'm like, the card's been delivered. Can I have my refund? No. Like, why not? They're like, you didn't use our label. I'm like, I can't use your label. I'm in Australia. Oh, you can log what was it? They said I could log an appeal. They closed my case saying no refund. So I was out of pocket $2,000. I didn't have my bullshit fake, sorry for the language, my fake Kobe Bryant. I had nothing apart from a lot of frustration. So I politely reached out to eBay again. And I rang them this time, and that was the last time I made an actual, or when I asked for help, it's the last time I physically spoke to someone, because I found out after the fact that if you just go in the text chat, you get a transcript of every conversation.
Yeah. And that
So
is a unfortunate part of the world we live in with customer service. And for people at
true.
home, I'm using air quotes.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
Yeah. So this guy on the
yeah,
phone assured me that he was going to take care of the appeal. There wouldn't be any problems at all. He would put the proper tracking details in, send it through, and within 3 to 5 business days, I would have my refund. Surprise, surprise, I did not get my refund, and the appeal was considered closed. I hadn't seen anything about the appeal being closed. They hadn't emailed me yet. So I jumped back on eBay because I'm a little bit annoyed at this stage.
yeah, for
I said,
sure.
"Excuse me, you've screwed up. This is the thing. This is the case. I've sent the card back. I've got tracking. I've got confirmation here. It was delivered. I've done everything you've asked of me. So why am I not getting my refund? And why are you making me the villain in the story?
Yeah,
Like, what have I done wrong here?" And they're like, "Well, you didn't use our label. The case is now closed," and actually went to end the chat. At which point I said the first person I spoke to assured me of a refund. Bring back the great transcript of the initial inquiry, which was text. And I quoted that transcript number, to which they went, "Oh, okay, the guys assured you a refund. Have you got all the tracking details? Where's the receipt to show that you actually posted it?" And I'm like, "I can get that." And I couldn't find the receipt because it had been about 4 weeks, and I was ready to jump down the phone and give eBay a piece of my mind.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Anyway, so I went back to the post office. I got the proof. I knew the time that I'd lodged the return, so I got a copy of the printout of the receipt, which had my phone number, tracking number, all the things that had insurance, and it was the proof of delivery, so signature on delivery. So I sent that. Nothing. Another week passes. Like, excuse me, call it. At this point, call means I got on my high horse and started typing. So I jumped into eBay, and it took a while to get through to get to customer service. You really have to be persistent to get through to talk to someone,
yeah.
rather than the automated assistant. It's like, I don't know if you remember the old days, but if you got through to an old voice recognition thing on customer service, if you started swearing or just kept pressing the 0, they eventually just put you through to somebody. Anyway, so they came back to me and they said, "Look, thanks for providing that receipt. However, you haven't provided a signed proof of delivery." At this point, I probably won't share the details of the transcript because I think I did very well to be calm. I laid out my frustrations. I said, "This is, I don't know, fifth time I've had to contact eBay, fifth or sixth time. You've closed the case on me. You've ignored what I've had to say. I keep giving you evidence, the evidence you specifically ask for, and you then don't accept it." At this point, I was getting incredibly frustrated. I lodged a case with Australia Post. I got the proof of delivery. I emailed them the proof of delivery. At which point, I then got an email back from eBay in reference to the transcript I just got off the call with, saying that I hadn't uploaded the proof of delivery. I then replied to the email, so I've gone off the platform onto a hard email, uploaded the receipt, the photo of the POD, the tracking history and journey of the card, all transcripts that I had gone through with eBay, and said, if this is insufficient evidence, you will need to explain this to me. I've done everything you've asked. And that was on the 4th of November. I got an email, I think it was the 10th, saying that the evidence had been received and they apologized. Once the high value team had signed off, and I was at that point, I'm like, if you guys don't sign off, there's going to be some problems. They said, once they've signed off on that, you'll get your refund. And yeah, I can happily say that on the 12th of November, after getting the card in mid-September, I finally got my refund. But that was one of the most unpleasant experiences I've ever had and I felt like I'd done something wrong.
So, like, frustrations aside,
Yeah.
and trying to look at this as a pure
Experience.
yeah, experience and like
Learning
learning thing.
experience. Yeah.
So like my two questions for you are the first one is like going right back to the start. So I'm just looking at sold listings of Kobe Bryant kabooms. You will not believe how many are selling below $200.
Below 200.
Right. So what I'm meaning by this, basically, they're either called customs,
Yep.
they're called cracked ices,
Yes,
they're
that was.
called promotional cards, or the other one, which is probably my favorite, it's called a halo, HALO, instead of a holo.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
And it's
there's
the
a lot
same.
of
They're a
fakes
Timu card.
going around, right?
Yep.
But then when you look at the real one, so then I'm looking at one here that sold on the 10th of November for $89.99.
Yep.
And then the one directly underneath that is sold for $5,000, but it's a PSA 10. It's exactly the same card. Like, it's exactly the same
Yeah.
design. So actually, this is a little bit of my own like fear coming out here, and probably
Yep.
where I empathize with you like a little bit. Like, I'm not saying this is your fault. I'm just saying, like,
Look,
you know,
I
like,
could have very
yeah,
much paid attention instead of
yeah, you
rushing
know what
my
I'm trying to
purchase,
say, right? Yeah. Um, but actually, the card looks quite similar.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're looking at this from a system point of view, how do you avoid this from happening again? And what I was thinking in my head, and I'll definitely want to get your feedback on this too, is actually look at cards in the PSA registry.
Yeah.
Because as much as we rag on PSA, but you know, overcharging people and upcharging and blah 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 blah, actually, you can also use them as a source of truth. And they have a lot of information in their database. They have like, you know, photographs. They've got serial numbers. Like,
Of course.
and,
Yeah.
and if I'm going to trust anybody who's going to catalog a card correctly, look, I'm sure Lane does it right, and there's Beckett does it right, and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
the PSA registry, like, I put a lot of beef into that, so that's probably like one thing I'll take away from that.
For sure.
And then the second thing, I'm really interested to hear your opinion on this. You chose not to use the eBay shipping slip. What would you do differently next time?
I would ask at Australia Post how I can use that eBay shipping slip and keep that tracking, because all they did was stick their international postage thing over the top of it and overrid it. So they didn't obviously the old lady at the post office didn't understand.
Or do you go back
my original label was? Yeah.
Or do you go back to eBay and say you need to
an
reissue me a different one? Like,
yeah, that's a good.
Do you know what I mean? Like, again, I'm just trying to look at this from a systems point of view.
Yeah.
Because I find this very difficult to believe you're the only person who's had this experience.
Oh, and I'm sure there wouldn't be people selling these ridiculous cards on eBay if they.
And actually, if you think about it, I think in some ways you got lucky, because somehow Australia Post got you evidence of the signature on delivery.
I within 2 days, no, within a day, Australia Post. I emailed Australia Post and said, "Here's my tracking number. I paid for signature on delivery," and United States Postal Service sent Australia Post. Then they sent it to me. The signed POD. So whatever signature and the address they delivered it at.
Obviously, I have much less faith in the system than you do.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm actually shocked that you received that information at all, let alone in a timely fashion. So I feel like that's something else where, the system could have let you down a little bit too.
I was terrified the system was going to let me down. Yeah. But it's my question to you.
Hit me.
For cards of that higher value.
Yeah.
Look, if I'm buying rookie cards and things, I'm gonna look for a PSA 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, but and we're talking kabooms, and how do you not get caught up if it's not a graded card?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, how do you get assurances of like, sure, I was lucky this time, and I say lucky very, very tongue in cheek, because I would say I was very persistent. There was no way I was letting this go, and eBay thought they'd fob me off a few times. And that would be my advice, is even if they say a case is closed, argue until you're blue in the face and don't give up especially if you're in the right. But yeah, like how do you avoid if a card's like say it is legitimately a $3,000 card and you bid it bids up and it's, I don't know, you get $2,900 and it looks all fine and it's not. How do you stop the fake from getting through?
Yeah, so I think the other thing, I'm just looking through the registry of the solds on these cards. A lot of these people who are flogging these off haven't got more
Much
than
feedback, yeah.
100 feedback points.
Yeah, my guy had
And
like
then
600
there's
or 700, I think.
yeah, that's a bit of an outlier. I'll
I
definitely
shouldn't have
admit
I
that.
should have realized that the guy sells repacks. So
Yeah. And
the
then
other stuff
there's
like he didn't have any other high end. Yeah.
there's actually one here that's sold raw for 2,500, and that's sold by Tull,
Yeah.
and he has 12,000 reviews. So I feel like that's something that I would use
Yeah.
to feel confident about.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it really is about knowing your product. So, for example,
Yeah.
there's some things I feel pretty confident about purchasing, and I wouldn't need to lean onto somebody. But okay, so the perfect example is a Jordan rookie. I would never
Yeah.
buy a Jordan rookie without talking to someone who I would consider to be an expert. But if I'm being
I like
honest with
that,
you,
yeah.
I wouldn't buy a Jordan rookie unless it was PSA graded, because then I know I've got that guarantee.
Yep. Spot on.
And so that's probably like where I'm sort of leaning the second part of my question. I would depends on my knowledge level. If I don't know enough about it, I would buy that insurance for myself and buying it PSA graded, even if it's a lower grade.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's
for
how I'd
sure.
answer your question.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, I'm glad the nightmare's over. That's pretty much my summary of it. But my advice to anyone out there is if you do have issues with eBay, persist and seriously go via their talk to an agent and do it via the text, because you get a transcript. It's a recorded, a documented version of the conversation. So it's not he said, she said. It's black and white. Here is the way that you can get in touch with Russell and myself and be a bigger part of the show. Now, if you follow the link tree to our Facebook group, that is where Russell and I put our mailbags up, our card versus card, our player versus player, our buy, hold, sell questions. All of those will go up on socials, on IG as well, using the handle @YouCan'tCompThis. Now, if you do have a more tailored question, feel free to PM us on Instagram. You can reach out in our Facebook group, and we'll be happy to respond and see if it's something that we can add to the show. Once again, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate the support and love creating this content for our loyal listeners. If you haven't done so already, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. So hopefully we see you when we go live. Thanks for watching.